I just got back from Tucson. I'm feeling great. Feeling Arizona'd. Had a nice time.
Is that in Tuscany?
Yeah, Tucson, Tuscany.
Was it really dry?
Pretty dry, but I'm from Vegas, so
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I like Tucson.
Next stop, Threed.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, good joke.
Well, I was going to Fangamer,
Yeah.
which I didn't really ask, but like there must be some intentionality of opening Fangamer in Tucson as an Earthbound reference, which kind of rules.
They probably, like, the degree to which people enjoy the video game Earthbound, it would not be a surprise if all of those people, like, owned mansions in the San Francisco Bay Area before they decided to move to Tucson just to start a company that sold Earthbound merchandise. Is the kind of very needs a lot of workshopping joke that you could make there.
Yeah, there's something there. Reed lived on a farm, so that is not the origin, unfortunately, but could have been.
It would be cool if they all lived on a beach in Hawaii and decided to move to Tucson just to start there we go. That's better.
More appropriate beginning of our venture. Did you know Threed was called Threek in Mother 2?
Duh.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just found that out. I looked it up to make sure that I said the right thing when I made that joke. I like to fact check or I'll be ridiculed. Next time we meet, I shall return the favor. This is episode 260 of Insert Credit, the only video game podcast where I'm required to mention a horrible buzzer in the introduction so that our editor can be cued to play the sound of a horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and my favorite cheese-based snack were these knockoffs of the Pepperidge Farm goldfish that were little dolphins instead that my high school vending machines stocked, and I haven't seen them since.
Wow. This is an unusual prompt. My name is Frank Cifaldi, and my favorite cheese-based snack. You know what? I'm gonna go for the Laughing Cow Light.
Ooh.
Laughing Cow is a soft cheese that comes in little individually wrapped triangles in a circle, and the light version, the entire triangle wedge, which is very satisfying and tasty, is exactly 30 calories. So that and a couple crackers, good to go.
Wonderful.
It's a good answer.
I'm Tim Rogers, and my favorite cheese-based snack is, I'm just going to drop it in the Discord chat immediately as I say it so you guys can see a picture. It's like natural and kosher brand mozzarella cheese.
Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff.
Fresh out of the bag. Just give me a little handful of that. All three of the dogs in this house come they apparate behind me, and I turn around. They all want a piece.
Oh, I'd love to drop that in a grilled C.
God, it's good. You can also, the bag doubles as a pillow if you have neck trouble.
Oh.
Dogs love cheese.
And pillows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm Brandon Sheffield. I'm gonna emphasize the cheese-based part because I feel like if I chose real cheese, it would be difficult to choose like a cheese. So I'm gonna say maybe the Cheez-Its Extra Toasty.
Oh, those always make me sick for some reason.
Well, that's not what you want.
Yeah, they got darkness in them. In them, man.
There's evil in that snack.
Yeah, it's actually like a curse. It's not like a traditional sick.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I'm absorbing the curse. I like it because it feels like something that got workshopped from like actual consumer feedback, because it feels like they just saw enough people saying, oh man, I love when I get an extra crispy one from the batch. And then they were like, what if we did it on purpose?
Oh, it's oops all Krispies.
Yeah, Oops All Crispies.
Oops All Crispies.
What it feels like, and I like it. So that's my real one is just plain goldfish. Love those plain goldfish in the regular size bag. If you get it in a bigger, like in the big milk carton thing, or if you get it in the big box, then it doesn't taste right. So it's got to be the little one.
Interesting.
In the regular flavor, regular bag.
I actually find this interesting because the last couple times I had goldfish, and I assume this happens with most foods naturally, but I think this might actually be a recipe thing, just tasted like cardboard to me and not the cheesy flavor that I remembered.
Oh, you got COVID?
I do not believe that I have had a goldfish in this post-COVID world.
Okay.
I believe I'm only a pre-COVID
Goldfish
consumer. Yeah.
I certainly haven't had any.
I had some.
Yeah.
I don't eat snacks. I love talking about popcorn, but I couldn't tell you the last time I ate popcorn. I'm just not a snack guy. I can't do it. It's a curse for me.
A lot of curses today.
Yeah, speaking of curses, let's go into this podcast that we've been
You're cursed
to
if
do
you
forever.
do, and you're cursed if you don't when it comes to these snacks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Might as well call you Christopher. Here's my first question.
Your cursed question?
Yeah, the cursed question. Tim, you won last week's episode, so by my tally, you're currently up to 7 bank toast points, 3 away from your prize. Here's
right.
my first question.
All right.
Why did Embracer Group acquire Square Enix Montreal, change its name to Onoma, and then immediately shut it down?
So the only part that's confusing is the
Why-
name change. The rest of it is like they wanted the IP.
Yeah, the name change is confusing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very odd.
But the interesting thing about what's really going to bake your noodle later is,
Bake my ziti.
did they really want the IP? I mean, are they really going to do anything with it? I mean, who even knows?
Oh yeah, well,
This is basically the same question as why does a billionaire buy 60 apartments in New York City per year and then not even like sell or live in any of them, right? It's
or
people
rent them.
with money or rent them out. Yeah, that's just it's a different species of people, man. That's why they're just not human. That's all there is to it. Money ain't human.
It's like we're seeing the financial mergers and acquisitions type of thing that happens a lot in the finance world. Someone will buy something only to shut it down for competition reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see that in video games. I don't think they shut them down for competition reasons in this case, but it is kind of like I could absolutely imagine a scenario where Square Enix is out there on the sales path. They're like they want to sell Eidos Montreal, and then Embracer is like, well, I don't want anyone else to have Eidos Montreal or to have those IP, so we will buy it. And then they do an internal assessment, and they're like, this studio can't do what we want. They're gone. But yeah, the name change 2 weeks ago. That's the real
Noodle bender.
head scratcher. But my guess is the higher ups at Eidos Montreal were not in on any of it. On the you will get shut down soon, and so they had their own plan, which was we're going to rebrand the studio, we're going to do all these things, this is what's going to happen, and then it just happened to be that 2 weeks after that, then Embracer was like, oh, BTW, we don't want you anymore. So my guess is like the Eidos Montreal staff made this decision, and then Embracer made a decision above that decision that happened to be 2 weeks later. That's what I think happened.
A 2-level decision. Do you think it was Onoma because of onomatopoeia?
Yeah, that's the only word that starts that way.
I think it's because they were, oh no, Ma, we're out of a job.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Cracked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to do it.
All right, next question. What kind of video game items do you never want to use again?
Healing potions.
Whoa.
Starting bold.
I only one credit clear. I never heal.
No, it's
Healing is cheating.
it's actually not. It's not
It
not
is
even true.
cheating,
It's
actually.
just I don't like when you
The idea
have
of your character drinking a beverage to heal something.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I don't like when you have to have items on hand and you have to because you wind up hoarding them. I don't like stuff that there's rarity of healing potions and I better save my
Okay, so consumables that you pocket for later is what you're saying.
yeah, that's what I don't like.
Not like you walk over the potion and your health refills. You like those?
That I do like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's things that you grab and have to use for like Final Fantasy 15. It's actually cheaper to buy the cheaper potions that heal you for less and then use them frequently. And so it's just like in a difficult battle, you're just flipping into the menu to heal yourself like every 30 seconds or every 15 seconds sometimes. And it's just so dumb.
Real pace breaker.
Yeah.
Well, that's why there's 2 games that I like that don't do any kind of a potion or anything, and or you can play them that way, and they're a lot better. And those games are Final Fantasy VII Remake and Hollow Knight. Final Fantasy VII Remake, if you are using any potions or anything at all in the game, you are objectively playing the game totally wrong, because they give you abilities that heal you. You can heal with abilities, and they're abilities that don't cost any money, and they don't cost any items, and they don't cost any magic points. They just cost
They
your
just cost cooldown or whatever.
your active time battle meter things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you use those frequently / whenever you can. They fall into 2 genres. There's Aeriths. The one Aerith comes with heals everyone a little bit, and the one that Tifa comes with heals one person a lot, or heals just Tifa a lot, right? And I mean, you can switch that materia off to other people. You can get multiples of them. Anyway, you can play the whole game that way, and if you do, it's a magnitudinously better video game. And then Hollow Knight, you just hold down a button to heal, which is cool because time is a currency in some of the bigger battles. So you have to get yourself into a position where you can heal yourself, and that's cool. So yeah, I don't really like. I've never liked opening up a menu to choose a thing, especially in the middle of a fast-paced action battle.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, we can joke about it and say it's cheating, but it really does kind of feel like you're doing something you're not supposed to do in a lot of video games. I'm thinking like this was particularly epidemic in the PlayStation 2 era. There were a lot of action games that were really embracing video gaminess. Everything was suddenly, I don't know if anybody noticed this, but everything was suddenly 60 FPS on the PlayStation 2 after a whole generation of 12 FPS video games. Japanese game developers were going completely bonkers on action, just fast, blistering, high-speed action. And in order to keep the casuals who got on board with the PlayStation 1, in order to keep them from giving up on video games entirely, a lot of games adopted that pause the game, open it up, drink a healing potion mechanic, because that's all the developers could think of, right? And it's like, I mean, at that point in time, had I been a professional AAA video game developer, it's probably all I would have been able to think of too, you know? So I think there's no excuse to keep doing it. I feel real dirty in Yakuza when I open the menu and drink a convenience store beverage in the middle of a boss battle.
Oh yeah.
That always feels trashy.
You were saying that it feels kind of like cheating, but funnily enough, for me, especially with the hardcore action-y things, it actually feels
like the game is making fun of you.
No, I get a worse time doing it because I'm not the kind of person who I heal whenever I need to heal, regardless of the situation. Quite often in the middle of getting hit or right before I was supposed to do something else. And so the menu interruption for me is less of a cheat and more of a committing to I'm going to get hit right after I take this potion as well, because I'm not going to have the patience or take the time to pace it properly so that I've got like a good amount of time to drink this thing. I'm just going to like take it and then I'm going to get hit. And so it's actually like, it makes it worse for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad in both ways is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. In summary, items just kind of suck.
Yeah.
I like them in turn-based, though.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I like hoarding my stuff and having to make interesting decisions during hard battles.
I don't like that because I don't make the hard decisions. I literally never use them because I need to save them for later.
Because your brain is wrong, but, you know, like if you make your brain right.
But so often they don't even do anything good. It's like, okay, let me throw this fire vial in Final Fantasy, and then it does like 3 damage, and you're like, oh, cool. I guess I'll never use that
I'll tell
again.
you one item I'll never use is an elixir in Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, yeah?
I'll get to that final battle. It's just too morbid a topic to consider. That, you're in the last battle, you're like, I could use these now. It's like, no, not going to use them. They're going to stay there.
You've abstained this long.
Exactly.
One thing I feel like re-equalizes that sense of cheapness and cheating is when you're in a game where the enemies can use items as well. Like sometimes they'll take out a healing potion or an item that increases their stats on a turn.
Yeah,
like
items always feel like a waste of a turn. Like in Pokemon, it's like I could boost my stats or I could do 2 attacks.
Yeah.
It's like boosting your stats is almost never as good as doing 2 attacks.
It certainly doesn't feel as satisfying.
No.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're playing a Dragon Quest.
But in Pokemon, it's especially not.
That's the only game series that gets that stuff right.
How does it get it right?
I mean, that's a whole nother thing, but I mean,
you got 2 minutes.
The math is just meticulous. They're just meticulous about it.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
There was some game I can't remember where you could throw any item that you had as well. I thought that was kind of fun. Like
Final Fantasy IV?
Maybe it was Final Fantasy IV. And at the very least, I felt like I always had something to do with an item.
It's like that bit in Adventures of Superman where you run out of bullets, so you throw the gun at him. Like, that'll do something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like that's in a lot of things. Adventures of Superman specifically?
Yeah, in the 50s with George Reeves.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of the codifier as far as I know.
I think that's probably the first instance of it.
Maybe it is.
Okay, well, speaking of RPGs, when you're playing an RPG and you complete an enemy encounter, should the overworld or dungeon themes start over from the beginning, pick up where it left off, or just play through the encounter itself?
Oh, I think it should pick up where it left off. I was always impressed with games that did that. Well, if not, yeah, it should like fade back in. Because some of those dungeon themes have like a really good part in the middle.
Yeah.
And you almost never get to hear it because it's always starting over, and then you're like, man, come on, give me to that other part. But then you walk 3 steps and it's like battle. So, I mean, of course it could play through the battle, but I like to hear a battle theme too sometimes. So yeah, that's how I feel.
I mean, I think a lot of people like battle themes in role-playing games. I think that's a popular sort of thing to like, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of want those. I mean, we're talking RPGs with random battles here. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's kind of the example.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of, there's no way around the random battle element of this. I think the battle theme and the dungeon theme should be very different. So you can't just say that you should Yoshi Bongo the battle music, where you just add something to the dungeon music to bring it into
like Hyrule Field does.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. It's okay in action games, but it even there I'm kind of like But in RPGs, you gotta shift it up.
Yeah.
And have a few battle themes, like a different battle theme per dungeon. Come on.
So if it's okay to start the dungeon music over after the battle, then either the battle was too long or the dungeon theme music is too short. And when you have two, when you have two twos in there, maybe that means you're doing something excessive.
You're no longer Prime.
Yeah, so maybe you should start the song from the beginning, have a nice fade on it, or from the middle, from wherever it was, have a nice fade on it. I mean, this is assuming that you're returning to the remarkably different looking dungeon screen from a battle screen. So the way Dragon Quest games do it is they have battle music that is rousing and exciting, and dungeon music that is usually very contemplative and slow. And at the end of a battle, there is, unlike in Final Fantasy, where there is a fanfare that leads into a victory theme, in Dragon Quest, there's just a single sound effect. I don't have it on my soundboard. I only have the level up sound on my soundboard. I would press the battle ending sound from Dragon Quest.
Well, it's like bring.
Yeah, it's a very brilliant little sound because it's very fast, and what it does is it cuts in on the frame that the battle ends, and it stops the battle music with a very quick, exactly 1 second long sound effect, and then there's silence. And then once you close the last end of battle window, the dungeon music fades back up from wherever it had been cut off. And in Dragon Quest, the original Dragon Quests, the battle screen the background is all black, and then so it's like it's you're going from one place to another. I think that's kind of the best way to handle it there.
I can't remember which game did this, and it's possible that I'm making it up. I don't think I am, though. There's a PC Engine game, I believe, that was using CD music for the dungeon themes, and then you would get into a battle, and then it would use the chiptunes for the battle, and then fade the music back in, so it would essentially like pause the CD, and then get into the like chiptunes music for battle, and then come back to the CD for the dungeon. I thought that was neat. It never sounds perfect because, I mean, ideally you'd want that cool, lush CD music all the way through, but it made me think about what if they did it really intentionally and super well. It could be kind of a neat contrast. If it actually thematically worked with the game, that would have been neat.
Two drastically different styles of music.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of do that in Nier Automata.
Yeah, kind of.
There is another option that I don't think is terribly compelling, but wasn't mentioned, which is that post-battle, it doesn't start the track over, but it does consistently come in at the same point in the track. So Phantasy Star 4 is an example of that, where right after the battle, it goes back to the dungeon music, and it doesn't go into the
It goes like to
intro
the B loop
part of the score. Exactly, yeah. Like it comes in on like a kind of compelling part in the middle of the song.
Huh.
Yeah, that works. That works. But what nobody wants is for the goddamn music to start over again at the start. Nobody wants that.
No,
Right, that's settled law.
I mean, nobody really wants dungeon music in an RPG that has what sounds like a strong start, I don't think. So I have this experience in the past couple of years of making a lot of loops of video game music because I need them sometimes for background. And sometimes with RPG dungeon music, it's pretty hard sometimes to find the beginning of the track for the loop. Some of them have little tasty beginnings that then pop into a looping segment that then loops forever.
That's what we do for like Gunsport, for instance. Oh.
Yeah. So the answer is don't have a dungeon track that has a really extremely exciting beginning.
Yeah. Wrong place to put that. Hold yourself back. NASCAR racer Ross Chastain pulled off a risky wall riding maneuver this week, setting a lap record, claiming that he learned the move from playing NASCAR 2005 on the Nintendo GameCube.
Very specific.
How is it that video games are changing the way sports are played in real life?
You know, it reminds me of a story I told during the Olympics on this show, where one of the beach volleyball players had a PS5 in her dorm, and they're like, "What are you playing?" She's like, "Spider-Man Miles Morales," and it's like, huh. These are just kind of regular people who play video games.
Yeah, that rules.
But that really doesn't answer the question. It just felt relevant somehow.
It's the same genre, but I was watching that F1 show that they have on Netflix a while ago, and you constantly see those guys playing the F1 video games.
Oh yeah, they love it.
They love it, and they do it less to be like, I'm going to see if I can try this technique, but more to be like, I got to get good beta on this track. Like, I got to remember what this track is like.
Yeah, exactly.
All the tracks are different, and sometimes they'll change it, and they'll be like, oh, well, they changed it in the game first.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, that's exactly why they're playing it. They don't get like even in NASCAR, where the tracks aren't quite as creatively designed as in F1.
Indeed.
They don't have a whole lot of opportunities to drive a car on that track, to look at that track, to experience that track.
Yeah.
So the F1 drivers all play the F1 games because that is their best. They've spent astronomically more time looking at the track in that video game than they ever will in a car in real life, you know?
I feel like that would be helpful for golf as well.
I think the big difference with like racing and other things, like for example basketball, is in basketball you can look at it and be like, I could do that. Like a pro player could look at it and be like, I could do that better, or I don't think you can do that in real life, or whatever. But you can try it with much lower risk to yourself. Whereas with a racing game, you can try crazy things that would kill you in real life, but then like if you dial it back, you might be able to be like, oh, but this I could maybe try for real. I don't know. It seems like with the lower stakes of other games, like golf is so much about like how's the wind, how's the what's my swing like. I don't know if you can really, like, you could see what the holes are like, I guess.
Right, the courses are very specific.
Yeah, you know where everything is there.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, so course beta is probably the number one thing.
The topography of everything. So I saw a lot of people have asked me specifically about this, and I looked over some of the discussions about it on the social media, and there were, in fact, you know, like Frank says, of the volleyball player who had Spider-Man Miles Morales, there were a lot of people just acting excited or confused or surprised that a sports athlete person plays video games. Whoa. Right, which seemed really out of place because it's like he's talking about a game that he very clearly even mentions a very specific one that he obviously played 17 years ago, right? So it's a lot of people played a video game 17 years ago, let's face it, right? So I saw that a lot of conversation focusing on that. Not as much conversation, interestingly, focusing on the fact that what he did was actually very bizarre, and it very much looked like a person playing a video game.
Like he let go of the wheel to do that.
Yeah. He let the track wall guide him.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about the GameCube 2005, NASCAR 2005 on GameCube thing, is not so much. I mean, it's that he had been thinking about this potentially for 17 years.
Yeah.
And then was like, now's the time, I'm going to try it. I think it can work right now.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing a lot of people do in the video games, in general.
Oh, yeah.
It's also worth pointing out that there unfortunately, let's say unfortunately, are not actually enough NASCAR video games. They don't consistently make one every year. And sometimes when they do make one, it's the rights change hands so frequently, too frequently. The developers change up. No developer has ever gotten comfortable embodying NASCAR as a game. Sometimes the NASCAR games are too simulation-y, and sometimes they're more arcadey. So a lot of people were asking me, why do you think this guy latched on to NASCAR 2005? And I'm like, I don't know. It's the one he played that he liked.
It's the one he played when he was 8 years old, probably.
It's the one he had, yeah.
It's the last one that was released for the GameCube. Maybe that was his last console.
Yeah, well, usually he's not an F1 driver, so he might not own the latest hardware,
Right.
So, there's a lot to be said about NASCAR. There's a whole lot to be said about NASCAR in general. A lot of what a NASCAR driver, I'm wearing a NASCAR shirt right now, so y'all can't see it, but I'm wearing one. A lot of what a NASCAR driver's experience is based in the real world, actual driving the NASCAR races, where there are way too many races and they race a whole lot of them, and they're just always out there, and it's generally a similar track every time. Kind of makes it more of a game, more of a sport, more of a codified thing than a lot of the F1 tracks, again, with the very creative level designs there, whereas NASCAR's more of a fighting game style thing.
Speaking of which, I'm a little worried about what happens when somebody else tries it, or the next time a person tries it. Is it going to
And it goes wrong, yeah.
Yeah, is it going to cause like a 1,000,000 car pile up over there? Because
the history of sports is fraught with disruptors that the entire world of that sport adjusts and adapts, usually pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like Tiger Woods was unheard of when he appeared. The records he was setting, the way he was playing the game. And now we've got like maybe 30 or 40 Tiger Woodses in golf, right? So it's so in other words, that wall is about to get a little bit hotter.
Yeah. Gonna be some tire tracks on that thing.
I wonder. I don't know if we have the data yet, but I wonder if the price of this game has gone up.
Yeah, I actually just looked that up. It's $33 now, which is interesting for
NASCAR 2005.
Well, I don't know what to compare that to. Was it not that a week ago?
I can't imagine it was. It's a 2005 NASCAR game.
Let's check out price chart.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, it's not an item of a hot activity on StockX, so you can't look at the sale history from a couple weeks ago. I just want to state clearly for anyone who is a serious NASCAR watcher listening to this show, as I know there's likely a few. No, I do not think everyone is going to be scraping the wall from now on.
All right.
I think it's going to remain a curio. It's not going to become a thing. It's interesting that it happened, but and if you saw this and you thought for a moment, well, that's weird, and then it made you a little curious about the sport of NASCAR, maybe check it out. There's other things that are easily as interesting as that happening quite frequently. They're just not as easy to blurbify on a social media post.
I'd like to revisit that on a future episode, like the cool game stuff in NASCAR.
According to price charting, this game has been bouncing up and down, but bouncing up and down between $5 and $10 for the last almost 10 years. And it is on one of the upswings, but it's like on an upswing from an average of 881 to an average of 966. So, but it's, when you look at the chart,
Still counts.
The real significant boost that you see is when the pandemic started, which I think it like brought the lowest part higher. But I think everything shows that trend around there.
I think that's fair.
I also want to say NASCAR 2005 is one of the good NASCAR games. I played it on the PS2. NASCAR Chase for the Cup, it's called.
Yeah.
Try that one. It's a legit one.
So Jeffy, I have a dumb question if you want to break. I have a good one.
Sure.
All right. Let's go into general here in our Discord here. I'm going to paste an image. This is a dartboard by a company called Arachnid, and it plugs into your wall, and then it has an AV cable to plug into your TV, and your TV, as you can see, keeps score on your dart game.
TV.
Looks like up to 4 players.
Yeah.
Question for the room: is this a video game console?
Huh.
Oh, very good question.
I don't think so, because I don't think Darts Live is an arcade game. Darts Live has a lot of these elements and stuff. I think it's like a video assisted darts game. Like bowling isn't a video game console because it has a screen that shows you the stuff, right? So I think it's not. But I guess the fact that it plugs into your TV makes it a little different.
It's a home thing now. Yeah, does that change it?
The fact that it converts your TV into a scoreboard, that would suggest that any sport played with a Jumbotron was also a video game.
That would suggest that the bottom screen of the Nintendo DS is a separate video game console from the top screen in some games.
Uses a separate processor.
That is true.
I'll change this up. Imagine. So we don't know how this works. It looks like it just kind of keeps score. What if the TV presented like new rules and mechanics to you, right? What if the TV was like, you have 10 seconds to score 50 points, go? Is that a video game?
I think that turns into an interactive board game.
Because it's still like all stuff that Darts Live does, but less.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, if Darts Live is not an arcade game, which I would say, I don't know, maybe it's hard when there's a physical component. Like, is Dark Castle or whatever it's called, what is it called? Dark Tower? The board game that had had a little screen and it told you what to do, and it you know what I'm talking about?
An electronic game, not a video game.
Yeah, so I think this might be an electronic game, not a video game, even though it has video.
Well, it's not, because the differentiator is video.
It's settled law on this podcast that a pinball machine is not a video game. Pinball machines do have electronic screens that change up the rule sets as you play.
Yeah.
So this would be closer to our pinball definition than our video game definition.
I would agree.
I think that's fair. Like a pinball machine is an elaborate video game controller, and you're hitting buttons that affect the logic that is displayed on a video.
The scoreboard, yeah.
Right.
Okay. That is a good argument. I like that.
It's a tough one, though. It's certainly not like, I don't feel cut and dry about it.
Yeah, it's interesting enough to certainly bring to the board today. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay. Oh, here's a question. Okay.
Yes. Like the little white TV they got.
Here's the reason that I looked this up.
Okay.
Arachnid, the creator of this, was a Nintendo licensee that never shipped a product. But what they were going to ship was this exact thing, except that your Nintendo was the computer and the display. Is that a video game?
Oh.
If it hooks to your Nintendo Entertainment System, isn't it then a game peripheral?
Sure. At that point, is it a game controller that is playing a video game?
Does it have a would it have had a cartridge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Then I think it's a game with a peripheral. Then probably.
Yeah, it's like Gyromite at that point.
Yeah, if it's got a cartridge, then
so the difference is that where the computer lies, moving from the actual board into a Nintendo makes it a game.
Yeah, I mean, like if whatever the processing is happening on the board of the physical object, then I think that, because like, is the VCR light gun thing, whatever that was called, Video Master, whatever it was, is that a video game? I don't think so.
No, because the logic is not displayed on the video output. Video output's just a video.
You do see the flashes with the square of the hitting area, I thought. Don't you? Yeah,
but the score is external. Like the video part is just well, okay, that's a good point actually. Like, because it is affected by the video, right?
Yeah.
Like the flashing and then the square.
Yeah.
You are directly manipulating the video signal. Does that make it a video game?
Right.
Good question.
If I'm playing Mario Golf with my friend, and just as they're about to hit the ball for the winning putt, I turn the TV off to mess up their timing, and then I win the game, meaning that I just won a game by pressing a button. Does that make the TV remote control a video game controller?
That's
It's a good question.
What about if what if I cut off the power to the house at that moment?
Yeah.
Is my breaker box a video
your
game?
breaker box is now a video game controller.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, because the video game, because then you can't turn the video game back on and have one. Like, I would then turn the video game back on. My friend is now one stroke over and not going to win. We're talking the putt on the 18th hole here.
That's very conditional, but
all right, we're out of time. So, final gut check: is this a video game?
Well, as a famous philosopher once said, anything can be anything under the right circumstances. So
Okay.
So
I'm going with no. Going with no.
Also going no.
Fine. I guess I'll go no. But I don't agree with Brandon's take on the Nintendo version becoming a video game then.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's also fair.
All you're saying is like whether it's a video game is dependent on where the CPU lives. So if the CPU was just a box outside of the dartboard, is that now a video game console?
No.
No.
But it is if it's in a Nintendo?
It's not a console, it's a peripheral for the Nintendo then, because since it relies on the NES to display things, then it is a peripheral for that game console.
This is not a peripheral because the CPU because the logic part of this has no other function other than this one game. It's not a video game console. So is Pong not a video game console?
I've weighed on both sides of that issue, and I feel like Pong is more like an electronic toy because it does one thing.
Okay, so Odyssey is not the first video game console.
But Odyssey, couldn't you could swap out the cartridge with the... well, we need to think about this more.
Is Taito's Densha de Go plug and play a video game console?
Yeah, the plug and play, I was wondering if we were going to get to plug and play.
Because this is a plug and play, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't feel like they're game consoles, but I might be being in my own weird semantics jungle.
Even the ones that have like 40 games built in?
Right, because I feel like there's something else. I feel like plug and play is its own thing. So is an Xbox Series S then not a video game console?
How many games must a box build in before it becomes a console?
No, you can download things to that. You can get more games and do more things with it.
Okay. I consider that a platform, not a console.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that the Genesis Mini is a console.
No.
Okay.
Because it's a black box that has X number of things on it, and it can't be changed. I don't know. But this is me getting into a weird zone. I have one more thing to say about our past topic, though, which is that I just found Nintendo GameCube rare Walmart cover art variant NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup, $120.
All right.
Not bad.
Collector's market on the rise.
And I just want to say Densha de Go plug and play is not a video game console, but it is a video game, and so is Kenshin Dragon Quest. So
I think that's fair.
I love a video game.
Ruminate on that some more as we take a quick break. We'll be right back after some beverages are exchanged.
Okay, I'm going to get some more water. B and R&B.
All right, I am going to get some carbonated water with some added ingredients. Gonna get a Diet Coke.
I see.
All right, welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time for us to return to Violence Island. Everybody's favorite segment, where we take submissions on forums.insertcredit.com of different video game characters and personalities, decide who would win in a fight between them, and then pit those winners against each other until one champion emerges, who we then ban from the island until the end of the season. Our first match today is Raiden from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance versus Bahamut from Final Fantasy X.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be the other, like Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
No, that's Raiden.
That is Raiden, you're right.
Yeah.
Raiden versus Raiden.
Good
You know what? I'm
yeah.
making an executive decision. This fight is Raiden versus Raiden now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Get out of here, Bob.
No, that's
Okay,
interesting.
so Metal Gear Solid Raiden versus versus Mortal Kombat. Raiden.
Mortal Kombat
Raiden.
Raiden, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Raiden's a god
Mm-hmm.
of a sort.
But he fights like dudes.
Yeah, he can't be. I think he can be killed and stuff. He just is a god manifestation or something. Maybe he's an avatar of a god. I'm not really sure. Played by Christopher Lambert sometimes, which is
Right.
cool.
That's the first thing I thought about
Played
too.
by
yeah.
James Remar as well.
Yeah.
So, if you want another guy,
Mhm.
you want another top quality dude playing your guy.
Remind me what's up with Raiden from Metal Gear Solid because I don't play this.
He got swords.
Swords.
He's sneaky.
He's the main character of Metal Gear Solid 2. He's the one that people got mad at because he wasn't the big tough man Snake. He was a blonde, younger man. People were mad. And then in Metal Gear Solid 4, it's revealed that he had cybernetic implants and became the toughest dude in the universe. And then he has a whole side game where he's the toughest dude in the universe.
And that's the Revengeance, right?
Some more, yeah, that's Revengeance.
Yeah, okay, good. Just making sure I had the right guy.
A man whose life began with a twist, as we can call him. So much like, there's the James Remar version of him, and there's also the Christopher Lambert version of him.
Yeah.
And then there's also, there's a third version of him, when, I don't know. Though he's a man of many faces, and you're getting the strongest version of him here.
I know him from MK1 through 3. I don't really know the games past that, to be honest.
How's Raiden MGS deal with electricity?
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it,
Yeah.
right? That's what I thought.
He loves the
He
slop.
eats it for breakfast.
Yeah.
So, Raiden's attacks are very electrical based, though he can also,
They also fly into you and like push you. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
While
Push him
yelling
into stuff.
belligerently, yeah. Yeah.
My favorite read on that was from Electronic Gaming Monthly at the time, which is "Your mom is from LA."
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
And as you may have seen in that that anime I don't remember the name of with the child who likes video games, they also made speculations about what they were saying in Japan because it also sounded like some things, and then it of course turned out that it was just a guy sort of ambiently racistly making up some things that he thought sounded Japanese. The end.
So who wins the fight?
I don't know.
Well, one guy's got a sword and can cloak.
And the other one's kind of a god, so I feel like this is a good match, actually.
I feel like Raiden could take on a god. He probably does in that game at some point. Take on a god. That seems like a thing.
Who, Revengeance Raiden?
Yeah.
Mostly just robots and politicians.
Wait, which one's Raiden and which one's Raiden again?
Raiden is Mortal Kombat.
Raiden's
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Raiden's
Yeah.
Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, because
Rising
Raiden is
Raiden. Yes.
Raiden is made by people who didn't know
Right.
how to pronounce it.
I mean, it just in my head, it's just I hear the guy from Mortal Kombat 1.
Raiden.
Yeah, that's-
wins. Yeah, Shang Tsung.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that is him, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because he's the tournament, the benefactor.
He's the one who says excellent because he's pleased. Because,
Flawless victory.
Yeah. Okay. I think that Raiden is kind of stiff, not very ambidextrous in his fighting style,
Oh, yeah. He's got no grace.
and that Raiden can kind of do anything. He twirled around. He could just jump on your back like a little monkey and start stabbing you.
He's quite virtuosic, yeah.
I'm going with Raiden God powers myself. Having watched all the movies, he can do a lot more stuff in there.
Yeah.
And
I
so-
don't know if he does a whole lot more stuff in the movies.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. He talks a lot.
He's a little lethargic.
Yeah, but he's also kind of like above it all, lethargic because of the God powers. I don't know. I'm leaning on that side now, Tim. It's up to you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. It's real fun to. I mean, I think we need to pick a Raiden Like, which one of the Raidens is the Raiden here? I need to know. Is it movie Raiden? Is it movie 1 Raiden?
I'm saying probably Mortal Kombat 11 Raiden.
All right.
Mortal Kombat 11 is a grotesque video game with
That's right.
some horrible, over-the-top, hilarious violence.
Yeah.
And it contains my favorite ever instance of Roman numerals, because it's actually just two ones, which looks like an 11, and then it makes all these references to Mortal Kombat 2, which is very fun.
Nice.
Because it looks like the Roman numeral for 2, where the second Mortal Kombat had a 2 instead, or had a Roman numeral. I think that's fun. Before they switched to regular numerals, I'm just thinking here.
You're stalling.
Yeah. I don't really care either way. I mean,
So just go for it.
Yeah, I don't care about anything, but I still answer the question.
You're probably more of a Raiden myself, Tim, I would say.
You mean, I don't know. I like a lot of elements from both. The Metal Revengeance isn't my it's one of those video games I get too many people asking me to talk about.
Yeah.
Yo, say some stuff about Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And I'm like, okay, someday maybe. It sure is a cool game, but I would just rather not talk about it. So let's just say that Raiden wins.
Nice.
All right.
And it's not a flawless victory.
No. Yeah,
This is hard won.
2/3 of a victory, yeah.
Okay. Our next match is Augustus Coltrane Cole from Gears of War versus a Mutant Football League team.
Or the entire team.
And Cole's got a gun, dude.
He does have a gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun.
With a chainsaw on it.
And you know what? Mutant League football is some garbage pail kids nonsense. No offense to it. You know, I have this thing where I play a lot of old video games, right? I think we all do.
I have that thing.
There's people out there, right? I don't know if you knew this. There's people out there like us who played a lot of video games a long time ago, but they didn't keep playing them. Yeah. And when they look back at video games that they played in the past, they then come away with the colloquialism that they bring to the bar or the pizza party or the baby shower. This colloquialism that, don't never look back at the old video games, dude. This never look back mentality. Those people are the kinds of people who, prior to obtaining the never look back mentality, would, if asked, say their favorite video game was Mutant League Football. Back in the day, we played Mutant League Football, dude. The game's not very good. I played it very recently. Not very good. It's got a whole bag of problems. Those football players, we were just sold a game that was extreme, that had a big old wild, tough football players who die on the field. You know, they die on the field. That's the special sauce of Mutant League Football, that your players can die on the field and not come back. Literally, that is a bullet point, selling point on the box, that they can die during the game, right?
So you're saying the gimmick is not they can kill, it's that they can die.
One of their gimmicks is that they can die. Yeah, the dying is sold over the killing. No joke. So in other words, Coltrane's got a goddarn gun.
Yeah.
And there's that level.
And he's going up against a team of mutants who are engineered to die.
To die.
Yeah, and he has, in fact, shot some dudes and made them die many times. And those dudes...
Georgie Porgy putting in pie.
Also had guns, right?
Right, whereas, possibly some of the people on the Mutant League team, having played in the Mutant League, have killed through tackling or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They have never faced a Marcus Phoenix type situation with a giant gun. Yeah, I don't think there's any question here.
If they want to kill Coltrane by tackling, they have to, the finish line, get there first. If you know what I mean. They have to get there first, and they're not going to get to him. Where's this battle occurring? In an open field?
It's Violence Island.
And just an open, breezy field in the middle of Violence Island.
I think we say it's pretty open, but you can get into some foliage if you really want to.
Yeah.
Football players have explosiveness. They occasionally have maneuverability. They're most comfortable in open fields. the more into a jungle we go here, the less suited a football player's physique is to close quarters combat. So I would say, they rely a lot on momentum and speed. And at that point, Coltrane's got a goddarn gun.
And he's used to using cover. That's his whole thing.
I gotta say, I don't see the death on the back of the box here.
You're not supposed to look at the back of the box. You're supposed to just that's supposed to fact check these things.
You're supposed to just believe Tim. Come on.
I was just really curious about it, but it does say you can throw TNT at the halftime marching band.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that the people who made Mutant League Football thought was funny. Kill the marching band. How hilarious.
Yes. That's what video games need to do. They need to take geeks down a peg.
Yeah.
All right, our next match is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger versus Crash Bandicoot.
First of all, is it Ty or TY? I played that whole game and I don't know. It's Ty. It's Ty.
It's Ty.
But it's just the letters are very uppercased. They look very.
It's because it's yelling Ty.
It's a little bit of a typographic mishap. I like the voice acting in Ty the Tasmanian Tiger because it's all Australian, right? Where Crash Bandicoot doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
You know what? Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 60 FPS.
Well, some Crash Bandicoots are. I think the reason I give the edge to Crash Bandicoot is he was in a lot more games. He really made it through a lot more trials.
He doesn't have boomerang though.
That's true. He doesn't.
He doesn't have a boomerang. He doesn't have an in-air chomping attack that can.
Wait, wasn't that Kai the kangaroo? Wait, did I make that up?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. There's 3 Ty the Tasmanian Tiger games.
There is a kangaroo, right?
Who is Cow the kangaroo?
Yeah, Cow the kangaroo. That's a different game, dude.
I know. I was thinking that's who had the boomerang. Does Ty have one too? Wait, maybe Cow doesn't even have one.
He's Australian. Come on, of course.
Yeah, do you really need to ask?
You know how many refunds would be demanded if he didn't have a boomerang?
No, I'm saying Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. He doesn't need to have.
He's got a ton of boomerangs. He's got an Aquarang, a Blastorang, a Blazerang, a Blizzarang.
All right, sorry.
But a Blazerang?
Yeah,
Blazerang.
Whoa.
My Tasmanian Tiger ignorance is really being tested
It's
here.
really just, I don't know what to think about you.
But I am realizing that I 100% put the Tasmanian Tiger and Cow the kangaroo
they do look similar.
Covers together in my mind.
They should look different. They should look more different than they do. Though it turns out a lot of us don't really know what a Tasmanian tiger is. You can be excused. They don't really show those at the local zoo. They keep them in the back room for the real weirdos to come take a look at. By appointment only can you see the Tasmanian tiger in the local zoo. So Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Tasmanian tigers in general remind me a lot of the genre of 3D platformer video games because there's not a whole lot of people can name a whole lot of them,
Yeah.
I mean, we think of them as a genre. Is it really a genre? Is it? I mean, sort of. Was there ever a heyday? Maybe.
They were kind of everywhere in the PS2 era, but I don't feel like people just had the one that they got from their grandparents, and then that's it.
So I recently went in and did a real deep dive on a whole bunch of PS2 era 3D platforming games, and had myself a very good time. But most of the games were not what you would ever want to play in the future.
Yeah.
But if you look at YouTube videos of any of them, the top comment is, "This needs a remaster."
Right.
So, and it's from those people who like Mutant League Football,
But it's also like on the top of every song that has like 7 million views. The top voted comment is someone going,
"Who's listening to this in 2022?"
No, it's somebody going, "I don't care what anyone else says. I like this song."
Yeah, well, I'm talking like gameplay footage of like Brave, Legend of Spirit Dancer, or Search for Spirit Dancer, or like Vex for PS2, where the top comment is like, I don't care what anyone says, this was the best video game ever made, and nobody talks about it, and it drives me crazy, and it has like 104, views. So it's the opposite of that.
Yeah, I guess that's the opposite.
So there's, in other words, that was the one game that person had. So what I'm saying is, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is hungry. and he has a boomerang, and he speaks with an Australian accent, like an old man. He sounds like an old man. Crash Bandicoot, what does he do? Run toward the screen? Come on,
He
buddy.
runs away from it as well.
No, running toward the screen is what he's famous for.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, he's got a boomerang. He's got a doomerang. He's got a kaboomerang.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how Crash competes with that arsenal.
Well, he spins them away. He spins them away. He's invincible when he spins.
Yeah, well, he's inspincible.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, it's quite possible to die in Crash Bandicoot.
You could just spin off a ledge.
Yeah, by spinning off a ledge or touching a monster. Those games are pretty rough. Whereas Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, he can move in 3 dimensions and rotate the camera. So, I mean, I don't know.
You're right. I think the boomerangs, the various boomerang types kind of do it.
Yeah, I want to give it to Ty.
More than the boomerangs, it's the hunger. He's hungry because he's not famous.
That's true.
And, I think he's a real killer.
He's using them to hunt, as was their original intention.
You got to look at that. You got to look out for that guy. That's all I'm saying.
All right, our next match is Tommy Vercetti versus Mr. Rossetti.
Who's Tommy Vercetti?
Main character of Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Voiced by Ray Liotta.
Well, Mr. Rossetti can talk you to death.
Well, ever since he can remember, Tommy Vercetti wanted to be a gangster.
That's true.
Because he's voiced by Ray Liotta.
The only function of Rossetti is to chew you out, right? Like, he doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, he'll talk you to death.
It's to make children cry so that Shigeru Miyamoto doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said in my something I did.
So we don't
recently.
think he's capable of, like, resetting the world or anything like that, as far as we
No.
know. He just,
No.
he knows when the world has been reset.
Yeah, he
so
monitors the reset.
And he complains about it.
he does have some knowledge beyond our conception of reality.
But he doesn't have a gun.
That's true.
Yeah, the Taint got no gun.
You can't shoot him if he's talking to you, and he can talk forever.
That's true. That's a good point.
He talks for a long time, for a couple of minutes, but he can't actually take action. He's just there to discourage you.
It's
It'll
really
just be
just a standoff. Like, is he going to continue talking? And, like, as soon as he stops talking, he's dead.
Yeah, it'll be a long, really boring battle that he'll lose.
He's a traumatizing presence who fires off when you might or might not think that you pulled one over on the game. Like if you reset the game because you didn't like an item that you spent a bunch of money on, he's there to yell at you, but he can't take action.
No.
He's just there to yell at you to let you know that Nintendo knows that Shigeru Miyamoto is crying in his chair.
Yeah.
He doesn't start talking until you've reached a trigger point near him. So with a long distance, grenade throw.
No,
or
he
something.
pops out of the ground right in front of your house as soon as you come out of your house.
He's right there.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is actually somewhat traumatizing to encounter Rossetti the first time, but it's also somewhat traumatizing to just run over your first pedestrian on accident in a Grand Theft Auto game.
True.
In the year 2001. So there's kind of a deep little kind of a emotional nugget attached to both of these characters. Tommy Vercetti being the first Grand Theft Auto protagonist that had a name and a voice and a script and story agency and whatever. Somebody's
Anyway,
gonna yell at
I think
me
he
'cause
wins. Vercetti.
Yeah, he's gonna win because he's Ray Liotta. He's not gonna let some guy. He's not gonna let some guy tell him what's up. Some ineffectual bureaucrat. That's what Rossetti is. He's a goddarn bureaucrat. He's a dirtbag. It's weird. He's like worse than a landlord. He's like a guy doing like a landlord's job for a quote unquote job for free.
He's a property manager.
Yeah.
But he's an enthusiast, a hobbyist property manager.
Yeah, what a loser.
A lower scum than Tom Nook.
It's a real fun Easter egg that he's if you can find him in the new Animal Crossings, and he's just depressed because there's no reset button on the consoles anymore. It's very funny.
Here is our semifinals. We got Mortal Kombat's Raiden versus the Coltrane.
Oh,
Can't he deflect bullets with his sword? Probably, right?
No, that's Raiden.
Mortal Kombat Raiden.
Oh, did Raiden? Well, Raiden won because of Tim. Okay.
I mean, he can electrocute stuff. He can electrocute the bullets. Then wait, by video game rules, those bullets become more tough.
Yeah, but his opponent's mom is from LA, so does that factor in?
Yeah, good question.
That's a good question, yeah.
Raiden God powers, I guess. You're just gonna
He doesn't seem impervious to bullets, but it does seem like he can easily avoid bullets. Does that seem right?
Here's what I think. Because he can be killed in Mortal Kombat, but he always comes back. Like, he's never permanently dead. So I think that Coltrane could win, but then Raiden is not dead anymore. He's not dead. He just lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bullets will shoot him and kill him. But then
Raiden does lose from time to time.
Yeah.
I've seen him lose.
But I don't know. It could go either way. That's just what my instinct is telling me right now.
Like, my little brother refused to play as any character in Mortal Kombat except Raiden, and he refused to do anything but the "Your Mom is from LA" move. And he lost every time.
Yeah.
Because all you need to do is learn how to counter that one move.
Here's what I'll say. Curtis Stryker in the Mortal Kombat series has a pistol that he uses as, like, an attack.
E-I-E-I-O.
Exactly. So guns can hurt Mortal Kombat characters.
And those guns in the Mortal Kombat games are fired very slowly compared to the breakneck pace of the Coltrane's gun. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think we can have Coltrane win.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm good with that, yeah.
Raiden's just not dead. He just got fatality'd. He got sawed in half with the fatality that got used, and then
he may be back to the island someday.
Then he went back to his island mountaintop, and he was like, "Whoops." The end.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger versus Tommy Vercetti.
Oh, interesting.
Guns versus boomerangs.
Yeah.
But many boomerangs.
I think Ty the Tasmanian Tigers, I think that guy's got something wrong with him, man. There's something wrong with that guy.
Yeah.
I've played those games, dude.
Think he's unhinged?
He could kill any Raiden.
Y'all know about that Chrono Rang? Have I brought up the Chrono Rang yet?
Oh, is that time-based?
Yeah, he's got time boomerangs.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
my God.
That's pretty good.
For the last, year, I've been just, like walking into every GameStop in New York and just, telling a guy that Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is better than Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
That opinion's going to be, video game canon in a couple years. So
Yeah,
be ready for it.
You're Johnny Appleseed.
Do the people that you see there in 2022 go, what, and then who?
No, man. You'd be surprised by how many Zoomers know Banjo-Kazooie for some unfathomable reason. Why do they know it?
They call them Zoomers because they're big Kazooie fans.
Oh, that's right. Kazoomers.
The sort of guy who ends up having a lot of children is like a guy who it's literally the dude who got Banjo-Kazooie instead of Super Mario 64.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
It's a guy who's having children until one of them likes the Nintendo 64, and then he never play.
He played Banjo-Kazooie was his first video game. He decided, this hobby sucks. I'm gonna have some kids. And then tells his kids about Banjo. It's the only game kicking around the house, and his whole brood of children plays it. The whole brood, Jerry.
Yeah. I have a very vivid memory of my family having a bunch of people over. And they were talking about old video games like Pong. And they asked me, what's the hot new video game right now? Tell me what the video game is. And
you said
Banjo-Kazooie had just come out. So I attempted to explain this game to these 50-year-olds. And
it's a bear and a bird who...
it was a real surreal time.
Who just trade horribly written insults with a mole and a witch.
And they probably thought forever that that was
That's what video games are.
It's like how my mom knows of Myst as a game on the Jaguar CD.
Oh, that rules.
All right. Our final match is Augustus Coltrane, Cole versus Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Shoot
Is right.
Yeah, that's what he does.
It's kind of like Hawkeye or Green Arrow rules, right? Where it's he can just throw a boomerang that does something stupid. He could throw a world-ending boomerang.
Yeah,
he could. Yeah,
he's got a chrono rang, which is
that's called the Doomerang.
Yeah, that is the world-ending boomerang. Yes.
I was gonna say initially I was going Coltrane, but now that I know he's got a chrono rang, I'm thinking if he can control time at all, then unless Coltrane shoots him in the back first, I think it's I don't know, but maybe he can't throw a boomerang as fast as Coltrane can shoot bullets. That seems very likely.
That is true.
Maybe Ty throws the boomerang, gets killed by the bullets, and then time reverses itself. Well, maybe does he come back to life if that happens?
interesting question. Well, Cole has regenerating health. Remember that.
Yes, but he needs a teammate to revive him if he gets too low,
That's true.
which
Yeah.
he doesn't have here.
I mean, I've never played or even seen Ty in action, but I just imagine that, like, if he touches water, he just goes and dies. So
No, he swims. He swims,
Does
dude.
he swims. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
boy.
not only that, he has special water specific boomerangs.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He's got
it's
an aqua rank.
Okay, but maybe like a snail walks up and touches him, and he goes and he dies.
he can take a couple of hits.
Okay.
But I see
all
what
right.
you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I have decided in this late hour I don't want to give it to Ty because one of his boomerangs is a crypto rang, and I feel like he should be penalized for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's his fault, though. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it predated that stuff by
The,
quite
the
a
word
bit.
existed before.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
we used that word to just mean like codes and puzzles.
I'm watching a video of Ty, and he is a dude with a tude, but I don't know about no 60 FPS.
Yeah, I was making that part up.
Oh, oops.
Maybe watch the HD version for Switch here.
I'm just passing around. Oh yeah, there is that, isn't there?
I just saw him walk on water.
Oh
Yeah.
boy,
This really opens up a can of worms here.
it sure does.
Ty the Tasmanian Tigers, he's bonkers. 60 FPS, dude.
I think we got. I think we
Well,
got
the
to give it
Switch
to
the
TY.
Switch version has HD Rumble.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
He looks like a dork. He's dead.
Yeah,
He's dead.
I think it's probably Coltrane.
Yeah, just let
Okay.
it be Coltrane. Who cares?
It's Coltrane. Coltrane is our winner at the last second. Congratulations. You can't stop the Coltrane. We went way over time on this, so I think we'll go right into our lightning round.
That wasn't the lightning round.
No.
That's my joke about that.
This week's lightning round was submitted on our Dirtbag page at patreon.com/insert credit by listener Yeso. The challenge? Guess the game based on its 0 out of 10 Metacritic user review.
Very good.
These are all popular, more or less recent games, as
Okay.
Yeso describes them. Game number 1. I give this game the worst possible score because it essentially scams the consumer by calling itself a remake despite actually being a sequel.
With the Final Fantasy VII remake.
That's correct.
Yep.
Point
Yep.
to Tim.
How is that a scam? Sorry.
Oh, that's a real good question for a later time.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, spoilers for anybody. The Final Fantasy VII remake very well could have just been called Final Fantasy VII 2. In fact, if they would have called it that, it probably would have gone over a lot better with a lot of people.
Yep.
Number 2. This is how the gameplay works. You delivering stuff to a hologram, cutscenes, repeat.
That's Death Stranding.
Death Stranding,
Yeah,
that's correct.
Death Stranding.
Game number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Characters, 10 out of 10. Story, 10 out of 10. Graphics, 10 out of 10. Battles, 10 out of 10. Ending, 0 out of 10.
Mass Effect
Call-
3.
Yeah.
No, keep going,
incorrect.
keep going.
Call Club Grind, 1.5 hour of useless gameplay.
Wow. Call Club Grind? What?
That's what it says in the review.
Oh, okay. So I think they're trying to say you have to grind a lot, but they like the gameplay. They just don't like the ending. Club Grind.
Isn't Club Grind a game?
Call Club Grind. Club Grind.
Oh, you can't Google during this.
Was that actually a spoiler?
No, I have no idea, but if... you,
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't see anything, but I'm out, I guess. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna guess it's like, man, hated the ending. I don't know. Bayonetta 3.
That's pretty recent. I think that
People
came
like
out...
the characters, the story, but not the ending, and they call
Yeah.
Club Grind 1.5 hours of gameplay?
Of useless gameplay, yes.
I don't know. Last of Us Part 2?
That was Yakuza 0.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Next
What does
game.
Call
okay.
Club Grind mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's a song by an artist called X-Ray Dog called Club Grind. It has 407 views on YouTube as of
That's probably it.
It's been 5 years now, and yeah,
And that's
probably it.
Frank's recommendation for this week.
Yeah. I'm listening to it right now. I heartily do not recommend Club Grind by
All right.
X-Ray Dog.
Game 4. EA, do you really put this game to $60 and microtransactions too? God, besides this is just a replay year by year. Damn it, EA.
FIFA, whatever the current year is.
That's correct.
Nice.
Mhm.
Next game. We need equal values and opportunities for all players on the island. My wife is the first player, which is great, but I do not want to wait for her progress. At the same time, I do not want
New
her...
Horizons.
Yeah, that's the one.
No.
That's correct.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to finish, but everybody knew what that was.
You can get that in.
But I enjoyed the particularity of that review. I do not wish to wait for my wife.
Yeah, nobody likes to wait for their wife. Oh, my dog is just yelling. What's he yelling at? Bippity, come here.
Loves the lightning round.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Bippy, come here.
You know what calms down a savage beast is some X-ray dog.
That's true.
Yeah, when I call it Club Grind. Somebody's creeping around in the hall or something because they're just yelling. I'm sorry, it's like they're yelling so much.
It sounds funny on this end, at least. It's probably annoying over there, but
The little boy dog is very funny sounding.
yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The little one, he goes. Yeah, very, very good bark.
Yeah.
It's actually very low volume as well. It's like when I'm walking him and he just like yanks the leash to go. It sounds like a person pretending to be a dog. Very funny.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I want to point out, because the page is still open,
Yeah.
that comments are turned off on Club Grind by X-Ray
wow.
Dog. with
Okay, good.
407 views.
I'd turn them off too.
Probably for the best. Okay, next one. The game was supposed to combine Watch Dogs, GTA 5, and Watcher 3 into the best game that we have ever seen. Obviously, it isn't
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's right.
Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm interested in playing Watcher 3, though.
Yeah. I started
3.
looking up Watcher 3 and Google understood what I meant. What they meant. I didn't understand what they meant, but Google did.
All right.
Okay.
Billions of free games with better bullet hell gameplay. And don't pester me about how it's story-based. If I wanted story, I would watch a movie or play a visual novel.
Wait, what? What was the beginning?
Billions
Bullet
of...
hell with a story.
It's that one game that I don't remember what it's called. That one that people say is like Undertale, except it's a shooting game, right?
You're wrong.
Oh, never
Okay,
mind.
bullet hell, story. They'd play a visual novel if they wanted a story. I can't imagine, like, based on previous games, I believe this to still be like a very popular game, because that's all we've had so far.
It is.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say it could also describe Cinemora, which I worked on.
I mean, is it one of the Niers?
It's not one of the Niers.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my second instinct, but I knew it couldn't be.
Tim, do you have a guess?
No.
It's Undertale.
Oh, it is
wow.
Undertale.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Weird.
That's what I was going to say, and then I just didn't, so that's interesting.
That's fair. The game is hard for the sake of it, not actually that fun. The story is poorly told. The graphics are quite average. I really do not see what the hype is all about. Go play Devil May Cry or Dante's Inferno. Way better games.
Is that Dark Souls?
Wow.
That's Dark Souls.
I knew it. I wrote that review.
I feel like you could make some of that rhyme and it would read like green eggs and ham.
Yeah. It's got a good
Interesting.
cadence.
I do not like it. Sam Iols. Here's our last one. That game feels like a total knockoff of Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, because it is, and some of the game...
Sonic Mania?
Nope.
Okay.
And some of the gameplay feels like it ripped off Sonic Adventure as well. I'm surprised that those so-called critics have not noticed about it. And a living hat? I've never seen anything so dumb.
I was
That's
Super Mario Odyssey.
That's Super Mario Odyssey, yeah.
I did it first. I don't know if I did.
All right, Tim, congratulations. You're our winner. That's your 8th host point.
Oh.
Thanking him up.
Only 2 more to go.
2 more to go, and then something very interesting happens.
Then we can have, we can watch what happens.
Okay, this is the point of the show where if you would like to recommend or plug something, go ahead and do that.
I got a couple things.
right.
One is, did I ever recommend Five Fingers for Marseille on here? I don't remember if I did. Even if I didn't, I just was thinking about that movie again and how I think it's like, not that there's a lot of competition, but it's one of my top 5 Western movies in the last 10 years or so. There haven't been that many good ones, but this one is filmed in Africa and in a whole bunch of different languages and is generally pretty cool. So if you got the opportunity to watch that and give it a look. Another thing is just, it'd be a real great time for people to join the Patreon, because when we get to 666 patrons, I want to do something really stupid and cursed, and I hope we can reach there. We're around about 630 right now, so we need 30 more listeners who never made the shift over to paid. Come on down.
I'm going to reopen my promise that if you show me proof on Twitter Alex Jaffe there, that you are a new or upgrading member of the Insert Credit Show Patreon. Give me a dumb video game quote and I might read it on the show.
Yeah.
To open an episode. I've done that a few times already.
Nice. And that's it. That's what I got.
Sounds fun.
I don't know if you're
like what your uncle says to you after glancing up from the newspaper when you were talking for a long time.
Yeah, that was what they said after I described Banjo-Kazooie.
That's right.
Oh, you got Kazoobian on them, yeah. You Kazoobied them.
I don't know. I just got back from Tucson. I really liked a store. So if you're ever
like JoJo.
Tucson or Vegas, Phoenix, if you're ever in any of those two areas, there's a chain of stores called Bookman's. And it's like, imagine if Half Price Books was really cool. And
I imagine that all the time, by the way.
Yeah, it would be nice, right? It's there. It's in Arizona. Yeah. This store is very well organized and the stock is incredible. And the video game sections in each store have a lot of really weird stuff.
Dude.
That's what I like.
There's a Mega EverDrive at one. There was the Japanese version of Street Fighter 30th Anniversary at another. I'd never even seen that in real life. I should probably find out.
Did you buy it and give it to me? You didn't.
It's $200, so no.
Oh, Jesus Lord, never mind.
What else? I bought a boxed copy of Deluxe Paint 2 for the Commodore Amiga.
Nice.
Because I thought it was cool. It's like the software all the pixel artists use, and it's just kind of at this bookstore. Bunch of old computer stuff, instruments. I don't know, like loose comic books everywhere for $1, and they're actually pretty good. I went and landed in Tucson. There were 3 Bookmans. I went to all 3, and had some time to kill the next day. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drive 2 hours to Phoenix and go look at the other ones. And
Bookman's in Phoenix.
That's what I did. Yeah, I've not crossed off the Flagstaff Bookman's from the card yet, but I've done the other 5.
Oh, you got to go. You got to go back.
I wasn't going to drive 4 hours to Flagstaff.
I'll tell you what. I somewhat recently drove around an entire state to go to all of the locations of a particular retail establishment just for a very tiny sliver of video footage. In an ocean of video footage, so I understand what it's like to go to a whole bunch of retail places, drive 2 hours. Let's just go ahead and say I did that too. I also drove 2 hours, if you know what I mean. I drove way too many hours. It was horrible. My back hurt so bad from all the driving. I just want to say that I want everybody to know that Bookman's, officially known as Bookman's Entertainment Exchange, is the largest used book retailer based in Arizona. It was founded in 1976 by Bob Oldfather. Are you seeing this? I dropped it in the Discord. You need to see this?
It has 1, 2, 3, 4 references.
It was founded in 1976 by Bob Oldfather. That's the coolest. That's the name you want on a dude on a bookstore.
Founds a bookstore. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
he
I
is the
assumed
Bookman.
It was Bookman, but Bookman is Oldfather.
Yeah, he's Oldfather Bookman.
He's Oldfather Bookman.
Yeah, I guess that's yeah, man. You gotta love that kind of a last name.
Here are the recommendations that I have for you. This is coming out on Monday, November 7th. Tomorrow is election day if you're listening to this the day it drops.
Vote.
So if you're a United States citizen, go ahead and vote. That's important. Also, a programming housekeeping update. If you're used to listening to us on iTunes, you should go ahead and search for us again because the feed changed about 6 months ago. So maybe you can get back on that train that way. Tell your friends who used to listen to this show that we're back on iTunes again. I also recommend that if you're listening to the show in any format where you can subscribe to a review podcast, including iTunes, that you engage with us in that way to keep the algorithms pushing us upwards and forwards. You can go to patreon.com/insertcredit, where you could become a patron to submit your own topics, listen to monthly bonus episodes, get other exclusive content, and closer to that all-important 666 number.
Yeah.
You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com, or Look for Insert Credit on YouTube or TikTok. We're on TikTok, I think. We're on TikTok, right?
We are, but we haven't posted anything yet, but maybe by then we might
Maybe
have.
soon. Wishlist Demon School on Steam by Necrosoft. And while you're there, go ahead and wishlist Hyper Gun Sport on Steam by Necrosoft. And if you'd like another show to listen to, check out the Video Game History Hour with our very own Frank Cifaldi. This show is edited by Esper Quinn with original music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Tim Rogers.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And the big man ain't coming back yet.
Who's the big man?
I like that the dog
I don't know.
stopped right.
Yeah,
right
I like
at-
that too.